Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life is a series of lessons. And if you don't learn them, life will keep sending you the same test until you do. There are things we all have to figure out if we want to move from where we are to where we're trying to be. And I'm not talking about what you learn in school. I'm talking about what life will beat into you, test you on, and then reward you for once you get it right. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else does. This ain't just some motivational poster you see on the wall. This is the truth about how life works. If you walk around waiting for the world to clap for you, to cheer for you, to validate you, you're going to be waiting a long time. People are busy with their own lives, their own struggles, their own dreams, and while some might encourage you, most won't even notice you until you've already made it. And that's the catch. You can't wait until the spotlight is on you to believe you belong in it. You got to walk like you're a star before the lights even come on. I remember when I was just starting out in comedy, there weren't no fans, no TV, no big stage. There was just me, a mic, and a dream. And most nights, there weren't even laughs. I'd get off stage and hear people say, "Man, you should quit. This ain't for you." But see, I'd already decided it was for me. I'd already told myself that I was built for this before anybody else could tell me otherwise. You can't let other folks' disbelief become your reality. Too many people quit because someone told them they couldn't do it. But what they don't understand is the moment you hand over your belief to somebody else, you've given them the keys to your future. You're letting them drive your destiny, and most of the time, they only have a license. The truth is, people judge you based on where you are, not where you're going. They see you in your current situation and assume that's all there is to you. But you know the plans, the visions, the ideas God put in your heart. You know the work you're willing to put in. You know the fire you got inside, and if you don't stand on that, you're going to get knocked over by every little opinion that comes your way. Believing in yourself is not about arrogance, it's about confidence. It's about having a quiet conviction that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are built to win, even if the scoreboard says you're losing right now. Think about every person you've ever admired, every success story you've ever read. They all started with a moment where they were the only ones who could see it. They were the only ones clapping for themselves. They were the only ones pushing forward when everyone else was saying it was pointless. And here's the thing, when you truly believe in yourself, it changes the way you move. It changes the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the way you show up every day. You stop apologizing for dreaming big. You stop asking for permission to be great. You start making moves that scare other people because they don't understand how you can be so sure of something they can't even see yet. That's when you know you're on the right path. You can't afford to wait for the applause. You can't afford to wait for the cosign. You can't afford to wait for the approval. If you're going to build something, if you're going to chase something, if you're going to become something, you've got to decide right now that you believe in yourself no matter what the circumstances look like, no matter what the critics say, no matter how far away the finish line feels. You have to learn that failure is a stepping stone, not a life sentence. The problem is most people see failure as a permanent label instead of a temporary moment. They mess up once, they lose once, and they think that's who they are now. But the truth is, failure is just feedback. It's life's way of showing you what doesn't work so you can find what does. If you look at anybody who's made it to the top of their field, you'll see a long list of failures behind them. They didn't skip over them. They went through them. They got embarrassed. They got rejected. They got told no so many times that the average person would have given up, but they kept pushing. Every failure you face has a lesson built into it, but you only get that lesson if you stay in the game long enough to apply it. Too many folks take a loss and quit right there. They pack it up, go home, and start telling everybody it just wasn't meant to be. But what they don't realize is The very thing they gave up on was probably one or two failures away from breaking through. I failed so many times that I stopped counting, but I can tell you this. Every time I thought my life was falling apart, it was really falling into place. That setback you mad about might be the thing that sets you up for your next big move. You can't be afraid of looking bad. You can't be afraid of people talking about you, and you can't be afraid of starting over. Failure teaches you things success never will. Success feels good, but it doesn't stretch you. It doesn't force you to be resourceful. It doesn't make you dig deep and figure out who you really are. Failure will strip away your pride, your excuses, and your comfort zone. It'll make you confront your fears and your weaknesses. And if you face it the right way, it'll also give you strength you didn't even know you had. The most dangerous thing about failure isn't the actual experience. It's the story you tell yourself after. If you tell yourself you're a loser, that's who you'll become. If you tell yourself you're done, that's where you'll stop. But if you tell yourself this is just part of the process, you'll keep moving forward. And every time you get back up after being knocked down, you're building resilience. You're training yourself to handle bigger challenges. You're proving to yourself that you can survive it. At some point, failure starts to lose its steam because you've been through it enough times to know it's not the end. You start to realize it's not a wall, it's a doorway. And on the other side of that doorway is the version of you who's stronger, wiser, and more capable than the one who walked in. That's why the people who win big are the ones who failed big. They've taken those hits. They've been embarrassed. They've been broke. They've been doubted. But they understood that every no was getting them closer to a yes, and every wrong turn was teaching them how to find the right one. You have to learn patience because God's timing is never wrong. The challenge is patience is not something most people naturally have, especially in a world where everything is about speed and instant results. We're used to fast food, quick downloads, and same-day delivery, so when life makes us wait, we start thinking something is wrong. But the truth is, the waiting season is not wasted time, it's preparation time. Sometimes you think you're ready for the blessing you've been asking for, but if you got it right now, you wouldn't be able to handle it. There are skills you still need to develop, lessons you still need to learn, and strength you still need to build. God will not put you in a position where the very thing meant to bless you ends up breaking you because you weren't ready to carry it. That's why the wait is important. The wait shapes your character, sharpens your focus, and tests your faith. The waiting room is where you learn to trust without sin, to believe without proof, and to keep working without knowing exactly when the reward will come. And sometimes it's not even about you. Sometimes God is preparing the opportunity itself. The right doors might not even exist yet. The right people who are going to help you get to the next level might still be going through their own growth process. The timing has to align perfectly, and only God can see all the moving pieces that have to come together. That's why you can't let impatience push you into something before it's time. If you try to rush what God is still building, you'll ruin it. You'll take shortcuts, you'll settle for less, or you'll get something that looks good now but falls apart later because the foundation wasn't ready. Patience doesn't mean sitting around doing nothing. It means staying committed to the work while trusting that the results will show up when they're supposed to. It's about waking up every day and giving your best even when you don't see any signs that things are changing. It's about planting seeds and trusting that they'll grow even though you can't see them under the soil yet. And it's about keeping your heart in the right place during the wait, because if you let frustration and doubt take over, you'll start making bad decisions. When you're patient, you learn to appreciate the small wins along the way. You start noticing progress you would have overlooked if you were only focused on the end goal. You learn to celebrate each step forward, each lesson learned, and each challenge overcome. And when the big breakthrough finally comes, you'll be ready to receive it with both hands because you built the discipline, the gratitude, and the wisdom to hold on to it. Patience isn't weakness, it's strength under control. It's the ability to move forward without forcing things, to trust the process even when you don't understand it, and to believe that every delay has a purpose. The people who master patience are the ones who don't just get what they want, they get it at the exact moment it's meant to bless their lives the most. You have to learn that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Talent is a gift, and it can open doors for you, but if you rely on talent alone without putting in the hours, the effort, and the grind, you will get passed up by someone who might not have your natural ability, but refuses to be outworked. Talent can give you a head start, but it can also make you lazy if you start believing it's enough. The truth is, the world is full of talented people who never reached their potential because they thought showing up with their gift was all they had to do. They stopped improving, they stopped learning, and they got comfortable. Meanwhile, there's always somebody out there waking up earlier, staying later, practicing longer, and doing all the little things no one sees just to get better. Hard work builds something that talent alone can't. Discipline. Discipline is what keeps you moving on the days when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what makes you practice when no one is watching. Discipline is what allows you to stay consistent even when you're tired, discouraged, or distracted. When you combine talent with discipline, you become unstoppable. But when you have talent without discipline, you become a risk to yourself because you'll waste opportunities you weren't ready for. Hard work also builds confidence in a way talent can't. If you've worked day and night to master your craft, to prepare for your moment, you can walk into any room and know you've earned your spot there. That kind of confidence doesn't come from being gifted. It comes from knowing you've paid the price in sweat, time, and sacrifice. The grind teaches you things talent never will. It teaches you to be resourceful, to solve problems, to push through fatigue, and to keep going when it would be easier to quit. It forces you to deal with setbacks and still show up the next day ready to give your all. That's why so many times in life, you'll see the so-called underdog win. Because while the talented person was relying on what came easy, the underdog was building muscle, skill, and mental toughness through relentless effort. Hard work will also put you in rooms your talent never would have gotten you into. Because people notice consistency. They notice when you're the first one there and the last one to leave. They notice when you take on the jobs no one else wants to do. They notice when you're dependable. And dependability is a currency in itself. It earns you trust, respect, and opportunities. There's also something powerful about knowing you can outwork your competition. It doesn't matter if someone's faster, smarter, or more gifted. If you're willing to put in more hours, study harder, and stay more focused, over time, effort compounds. And the gap between talent and hard work starts to close until the hard worker is leading the race. The people who last the longest, who stay on top, are the ones who never stop working just because they've made it. They understand that the grind doesn't end when you reach a goal. It continues because staying at the top takes as much effort as getting there in the first place. Talent might open the door, but hard work is what keeps it from closing on you. You have to learn to guard your circle because not everybody is meant to go where you're going. The people you spend the most time with have more influence on your life than you realize, and if you're not careful, you can be carrying people who are secretly pulling you backward. Some folks are in your life for a season, not for the whole journey. And holding on to them past their season can cost you opportunities, peace, and even your purpose. Not everyone who smiles at you is for you. Some people are just around because they like the comfort of your presence or the benefits you bring, but deep down, they don't believe in your vision. Some are even hoping you don't succeed because your success will remind them of what they didn't do. You have to start paying attention to who claps when you win, who encourages you when you're tired, and who supports you when you take risks. If someone only shows up when they need something from you, but disappears when you need them, that's not your circle. That's just an audience. And an audience doesn't help you carry the weight. They just watch to see what happens next. Guarding your circle means setting boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. It means being willing to say no to people you love if their presence is costing you your peace or slowing your progress. It means being honest with yourself about whether the people around you are building you up or breaking you down. Sometimes you have to distance yourself from people you've known for years because the energy they bring no longer matches the direction you're headed. And that's not about thinking you're better than them. It's about knowing you can't afford to compromise your growth just to keep someone comfortable. The right circle will challenge you, inspire you, and push you to be better. They'll call you out when you're slipping, celebrate with you when you're winning, and remind you of who you are when you forget. They'll speak life into your dreams instead of planting seeds of doubt. They'll see potential in you even in seasons when you can't see it yourself. On the other hand, the wrong circle will drain your energy, feed your fears, and keep you stuck in the same place year after year. If you keep giving your time to people who aren't growing, eventually they'll convince you to stop growing too. Protecting your circle is one of the most powerful things you can do for your future because your environment shapes your mindset. You're surrounded by negative, small-minded people, your thinking will shrink. But if you're surrounded by people who dream big, work hard, and stay positive, that energy will push you higher. You have to be intentional about who you let close to you. Because once someone is in your inner circle, their habits, attitudes, and mindset start rubbing off on you. If you want to go to the next level, your circle has to be made up of people who are already climbing or who are willing to climb with you. It's not about cutting everybody off, but it is about being wise enough to know who can go with you into the next chapter and who can't. You have to learn that gratitude attracts blessings faster than complaints ever will. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's a mindset, a way of seeing the world that focuses on what's right instead of what's wrong. Too many people spend their days talking about everything they don't have, everything that's going wrong, and everything they wish was different. What they don't realize is that when you live in a constant state of complaint, you train your mind to look for problems. And the more problems you look for, the more you find. Gratitude flips that around. When you start your day focusing on what's already good in your life, you train your mind to look for blessings. And the more blessings you look for, the more you start to see. It's not that challenges disappear, but your perspective changes. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of life and start seeing yourself as someone who's already blessed, even in the middle of the storm. Gratitude shifts your energy, and people can feel it. When you carry a thankful spirit, you attract more good people, more opportunities, and more reasons to be thankful. It's hard to open new doors in life when all your words and thoughts are locked on what's missing. Gratitude, on the other hand, creates space for more. Think about it. If someone gave you a gift and you acted like it didn't matter, would they be excited to give you something else? But if you show genuine appreciation, that person would be more likely to give again. Life works the same way. The more you appreciate what you already have, the more life will find ways to give you more. Gratitude also keeps you grounded when things are going well. Success can make people forget where they came from and who helped them along the way. But when you practice gratitude daily, you stay connected to your roots. You remember the journey, and you value the people and moments that shaped you. On the flip side, Gratitude can also carry you through the toughest season. When everything feels like it's falling apart, taking the time to notice the smallest blessings. A roof over your head, food on the table, a friend who checks in can give you the strength to keep going. It's a reminder that even in the hardest times, there's still something worth holding on to. Gratitude doesn't mean you ignore your problems or pretend everything is perfect. It means you choose to acknowledge the good that's present while working through the challenges. It's a choice you make every day, and like any habit, the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you won't have to force yourself to be thankful. It will just be part of who you are. And when that happens, you'll notice that life feels lighter, your relationships feel stronger, and your path feels clearer. People are drawn to those who carry a spirit of thankfulness because it's refreshing in a world that's full of negativity. The ones who live with gratitude inspire others without even trying, and their lives keep expanding because gratitude keeps opening doors that complaints would have slammed shut.